Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for another video. We're doing a quick Bible study, the book of Revelation, and I'm making this video for you guys. I myself am studying this word and I'm so excited about it. I just wanted to make some video blogs and help somebody else out that is studying this word too, out there in this world. Even for folks that are skeptical and totally write off this book of Revelation as a whole bunch of hobble gobble, whatever you want to call it. I'm here to make the argument that we should be thinking about this word. How did it get to this earth? What is the point of it? And just take heed, because this is more than just any type of non-fiction or fiction book. This is the Word of God, in my opinion, and I challenge you all to discover this for yourself. At the end of the day, the book of Revelation is talking about Jesus Christ, and I think we need to know who Jesus Christ is. Either he was Lord for you and for me, or he was a lunatic, or he was just a liar. One of those three. I mean, that's all it can be. For me, he's Lord and Savior. I know Jesus Christ. I want you to know him too. And I'm making this video for you guys to learn and study with me on book of Revelation. So here we are, chapter 14. I'm going to read this and make this video as short as I can. I'm reading out of the book of Revelation study guide, John MacArthur. I think it's really good study guide. And these are my little notes and stuff that I'm studying right there. You can see. So I'm going to read it out of the New King James version and point out a couple things, and we'll keep on going. Enjoy this day, right? So here we are. I'll just turn it around here. Hopefully we can see the whole thing. In chapter 14, then I looked, and behold, a lamb standing on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven like a voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder. And I heard the sound of harpists playing their harps. They sang as if it were a new They sang as it were a new song before the throne, before the four living creatures and the elders, and no one could learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. These are the ones who are not defiled with women. They are virgins. For they are virgins. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to God and the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no deceit, for they are without fault before the throne of God. Then I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea, and springs of water. And another angel followed, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Excuse me, I gotta turn the page. And then, I'm adding here in verse 9, then a third angel following them, saying with a loud voice, If anybody worships the beast and his image, and receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out full strength into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascends forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whoever receives the mark of his name. 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God in the faith of Jesus. Then I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, Write, Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord, and from now on, yes, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works follow them. 14. Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and on the cloud sat one like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the temple, crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, Thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time has come for you to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So he who sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Then another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven. He also had a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, who had the power over fire. And he cried out And he cried with a loud cry to him who had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. So the angel thrust his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth, and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trampled outside the city, and blood came out of the winepress up to the horse's bridle for 1,600 furlongs. Okay, so we're back here, and we're going to be just highlighting a couple things that I'm going to come back and talk about next week, because it's a lot here in chapter 14. 14 got a lot going on. And so the question is, who is this 144,000? How do we get to 144,000? What's the significance? So I'm just going to say that 144,000 has already been revealed to us in previous chapters of the Bible, as well as in the book of Revelation. I forget what chapter it is. I actually was supposed to know this by now, but I don't, and I got to come back to you next week. But there's 12 tribes of Israel, right? And out of those 12 tribes of Israel, God has pulled aside 12,000 of the 12 tribes. So 12 times 12 is 144. You got 144,000. So those are who they are. And as you can see in the first couple of chapters of 14, these 144, I guess, are are set aside once again as being virgins, not having been fallen victim to illicit sex. How important that is. That's who the 144 are. They're a very special set of folks here that are in this time that we're reading, which is a very, very troubling time of the earth. We're talking about the Great Tribulation. We're talking about the end of the world, the end of the times. I don't know when that's going to be. I mean, here we are in 2015. I'm sitting in this little nice little park, and everything's beautiful in the United States. There's no, even though we are at war, there's no war here in the forefront. But how do we know that's going to be peaceful like this forever? I don't think it's going to be that peaceful forever. You can watch history, read history, and see how many times, man has created war. And, think of the Romans, think of the Egyptians, think of every civilization that has come and go. We're just in the moment of time at this moment, anyway. So then, who else do we got going on here? We have these angels, right, that are coming out. One angel is preaching the gospel to all the nations in tongues during this time of tribulation. Another angel is pronouncing judgment on the same, we have that going on. So, a lot of folks think Revelation is a lot of doom and gloom. It really is, but there's a point that's happening here is that, the Bible is talking about Jesus Christ. Who is Jesus Christ? Who do we think he is? Was he this guy that, never existed? Is it just a big fairy tale? Or did he really come, the way he did, through a virgin, Virgin Mary? How do you have a baby that's a virgin? I mean, God is the only one that can do such a thing, and he came and he lived 33 years on this earth. He died at the hands of his own people and the Roman government at the time, and he was crucified, and he died, and he rose again in 3 days. Just like a lot of the prophets that came before him said that he would do it, So here we are, fast forward 2015, there's a lot of belief that this never happened still. We got churches on every single corner, but people don't know who Jesus really was. I mean, we're in 2015 because we're in 2015 years after Jesus Christ came onto the earth. So how significant is that? If this is really a fairy tale and Jesus Christ never existed, how are all these things pointing back to him, and for me as a little baby Christian here trying to learn more about who God really is, when I read and understood Revelation as just pointing back to Jesus Christ and his love, God has poured out his love towards us by doing what he did. It makes total sense to me, and I hope it will make sense to you who are either following Christ right now or just don't think he's even real. You know, I challenge you to dig deeper. Don't just listen to what your pastor says on Sunday and what the History Channel says on, you know, their weekly marathons, but really, you know, study who this guy was that came, you know, and don't read just the Bible. I mean, read the other, you know, works that are out there that have been described from those times, you know, and know, you know, what's really going on, you know, and I just challenge you to read that. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm at 10 minutes. We're in chapter 14. We're talking about the 144 that have been set aside. You know, we're talking about some angels here that are pronouncing the gospel and pronouncing judgment. And then we really didn't get into it, but ultimately it's leading to this really bad situation called the winepress of God, which is, it's really hard for me to fathom that could happen. I've never been in war necessarily where I've seen people get slaughtered in front of me and blood going all over the place. I mean, the closest thing I got to that is Hollywood. But we're talking about real. I mean, this is not Hollywood in this Bible. We're talking about seriously folks' lives right here. I mean, you're looking at me, I'm a human being, you're a human being watching this video, and we have decisions and choices to make for our families and everything, and it's real, man. And when we die, you know, that's real as well, and I promise you, you're not going to come back as a snake or an elephant or, you know, whatever, you know, belief, you know, there's out there, you know. I mean, you're gonna die and there's judgment day, you know, and either you believe in Jesus Christ and he's going to vouch for you on that day, or you think he's crazy, and the other side of that is eternal torment. I mean, as bad as that sounds, I don't want that to happen to anybody. So I'm making this video so you will know who Jesus Christ is. I promise you, just learn who he is, follow him, see what he says. It wasn't just a fairy tale, you know. So I'm gonna sign out with that. I'm at 11 minutes, man. Sorry for making this video so long. I'm gonna catch you next week on this same little channel. We'll keep on studying chapter 14 of the book of Revelation. Have a great day.